You all by yourself, man? That's pretty short-sighted. I know. You got a lot of trouble.
You know, and I think you kind of waste management. Put it on the water.
I'm not so worried about the painting, to tell you the truth.
Well, but if we don't paint it, it's going to disintegrate.
Has it started? Yes. Okay. I haven't taken a walk around the back from Yeah, we got the money for it. Painting and repairs. Yeah. The other one, Jackson.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting, September 15th, 2022, 501 Main Street, 5:30 PM. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Crenshaw,
Here.
Altai,
Here.
Garcia, Hellenthal, Andrews, Hillman,
Here.
Bryant,
Here.
Greenwald,
Here.
5 present, 3 absent.
Item number 4 is mayor's correspondence. This Friday, tomorrow, September 16th, there's music in our city park, at the pavilion, and the name of the band is City Park. It's at 7 PM and food for purchase, and you can bring your own bottle. Mexican Fiesta kicks off in Fort Madison at 4 PM, and they have fun food all weekend long, so that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Clark County Mule Festival began tonight and will continue out through the weekend with fun and games and food and entertainment all weekend long. We also have Saturday, September 17th, Farmers Market as usual, 8 to 11 in the Keokuk Mall. Then we have music by the Big Huge at Rand Park Pavilion. And again, it is at 7 o'clock, food for purchase and bring your own bottle. We have the Keokuk Knights of Columbus will be hosting a halfway to St. Patrick's Day at the Knights of Columbus building at 6th and Main. It's McNamara's Band, fun, food, and the doors open at 5 o'clock. We also have the Rat Pack Ride Cruise Night. You meet at Ace Hardware from 4 to 8 PM. Then we have Sunday, September 18th, we have a Don Faulkner Memorial at the Southside Boat Club, and that is the gentleman who started the Legacy Boat, and he has passed away this past week. And so in honor of him, they are going to do an 11 o'clock ride, a 12:30 ride, and a 2 PM ride at $20 a person. We send our condolences to them because they have done a great thing for the city of Keokuk, and we hope they find someone to continue it on.
And all the proceeds from those rides go to his charity, not charity, but his memorial.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you very much. Then on Sunday, September, oh, that was that. And then moving on, because I got to go because we don't have a council meeting before some of this. So Wednesday, September 21st, Southern Cherry is having its 150th anniversary in Victory Park from 3 to 9. There's fun, food, and of course, music, and it's Nathan Gosnell and Jared Harness. And you need to go out and thank them for being in our community for 150 years. On Thursday, September 22nd, there is a red flag ride that's coming through Keokuk. There are 29 vehicles that are 1927 or older and coming to Keokuk from Mount Pleasant. This is their 10th year taking a ride, and they go to different places in the state of Iowa. They are coming from Mount Pleasant. They're coming up River Road. They'll go through Ram Park, down Grand Avenue to Victory Park, where the plan is right now to eat if it all works out. Then they're going to the old part of the National Cemetery and the new part of the National Cemetery. And sounds like it's a really, really an interesting thing. I know I spoke with the gentleman today, and I know Kirk has too. And it sounds like they do a lot, go to a lot of communities.
A lot of the folks, it's headquartered in Mount Pleasant, but they come from all over the country. I mean, it's cars and people from California, you know, I mean, wherever the enthusiast is from, that's where they come from. So it's not just a Mount Pleasant thing, it's a national.
Yeah, and it started in representation of the red flag trip from London to Brighton, England, way back in the early 1900s, and they have just kind of carried something on there. Okay, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, September 23rd to the 25th, the First Baptist Church is holding a celebration, 175 years anniversary for the city of Keokuk, and they have fun, food and music. It seems like we always have fun, food and music everywhere. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, September 23rd through the 25th, we have the Geo Festival, and it starts at the First Christian Church. Friday at what time, Kirk?
8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning, and that's always a great thing for our community, and it's always a fun time. Friday, September 23rd, the Portrait of the Queen, Aretha Franklin tribute done by CC Tennell. It's at 7:30 p.m. at the Grand Theater. Tickets are $20. Then Saturday, September 24th, McNamara's Band featuring a Jamie Simmons on the trumpet will be in Rand Park Pavilion at 6 o'clock p.m. Then moving on to Saturday, October 1st, we have another tombstone tune-up. So bring your gloves and whatever you need to help us straighten up more stones and clean up in Oakland Cemetery. It's 8 to noon. Then Saturday, October 1st, from 10 to 4 p.m. is open house at the Union Depot on the Keokuk Riverfront, and it's also the next day, Sunday, from noon till 3. And at 3 o'clock, Neil Vogel will be giving a presentation on the last turtleback train shed in America. And we're hoping that the train cars will be moved for that one. And I did call today, so we hope. And then last but not least, October 1st at the Riverfront is the Bill Trimble Memorial Car Show at Victory Park from 10 to 5 p.m. Item number 5, citizens' request. If you have something that you need to come and talk to, would you please come to the platform and state your name, your address, and try not to take more than about 5 minutes if possible. And if somebody's here to talk about the same thing, or 2 or 3 people, please, try not to be repetitive. Thank you very much.
He just wanted to take up my time.
Huh?
He just wanted to take up some of my time. That too. Good afternoon. My name is James Rauner, 1415 High Street. And I would like to address the lack of access for wheelchairs around town. I'm going to start with Rolling on the River. Once again, this year, as in previous years, where they put the access entry for the tickets, it is not wheelchair accessible. I could not even access it with this because there's that steep curb. There's no ramp accessibility. And I've talked about this. Matter of fact, the people that were running it this year reminded me from talking about it last year because they made a deal out of it. And they're like, well, you can pick them up with their wheelchairs. Well, this thing with me on it weighs over 600 pounds. Two people is not going to pick me up on that over that curve. The intersection of 12th and Johnson, that's the same issue. And that's the sidewalk entering or accessing Keokuk Police Department. That's not wheelchair accessible. There's no sidewalks going past Hanny's to get out to Walmart, Aldi's. And now I can go down the street. I've contacted police department that says there is no minimum speed limit on Main Street. I have a headlight, a tail light, my little triangle on the back. I'm sure that the automobile traffic is not going to appreciate me going 2 miles an hour down Main Street. I'd rather prefer using the sidewalk. There's no handicap parking for City Hall. I mean, it's just things like that around town. People parking on the sidewalk, 600 block of Johnson, 300 block of South 7th, 300 block of South 10th. Car, truck, motorcycle. People routinely parking vehicles on the sidewalks, blocking access for pedestrian traffic. And I think that the city, law enforcement could and should do a better job of policing these issues to make it more accessible for disabled people, wheelchair people, and just pedestrian traffic in general. Thank you.
Thank you. And we did take down the notes of the places you mentioned, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay?
Dan Wynn, Keokuk. It's a little bit different being on this side of the podium. But I just wanted to speak tonight to an issue that I think is very important. Keokuk is facing difficult situations with the closing of ADM and our hospital. People are discouraged about our town, our streets, our finances. We as a city are going to be facing hard decisions in the coming future. But, and I say but, it is with a heartfelt pride that I can say the people of Keokuk have pulled together with support for the Nye and the Courtney families with the loss of Lucas Nye and Noah still fighting in the hospital. I am proud to call Keokuk my hometown. We can all make a difference when we care about one another and pull together. And I think this town has showed that. And I'm very proud to be a part of Keokuk.
Thank you, Dan.
Ray Bradley, 118 North 16th. Just got a couple of questions I think this group should be aware of and respond to. We've had a lot of problems at the transfer station all spring and all summer. And what's going on is not right. And the people of this community should be outraged over what they're doing out there. There's no one that's probably been more critical of the organization than I have. And I haven't said anything for a really long time, but I've been watching what's going on here for the last year, and it's not right. And somebody needs to address it. Now, I think everybody in this room will recall the millions of dollars that GRWA had to bond out for. That was on the water bill. Businesses got bills. I don't know of any hotter issue in Keokuk over the last 50 years. But let me remind you, it was the people of this community and this county that paid for that transfer station out there. These people of Keokuk have paid millions of dollars to finance the Great River Regional Waste Authority. What's going on now is the citizens and businesses of Keokuk are taking a back seat to Adams County and Quincy. When I tell people that, they're, what are you talking about? Well, since spring, the building's been full. Granted, part of it may be the hauler, but the biggest part of it is our Great River Regional Waste Authority is taking in way too much trash out there than they can handle from Quincy and Adams County. Now, can anybody on this board tell me how much the city of Keokuk is delivering in trash to the transfer station? Just approximately a week?
Around 70,000 ton a year.
Okay. Well, right now, Quincy, Adams County is bringing more garbage to our transfer station than the city, my firm, and every private hauler all put together. Now, a couple of months ago, I addressed the director of the organization and I asked him why they were doing this, and he said, we need the money. Well, there's one problem here. When it comes to a point when our transfer station that our city, citizens and businesses financed, when they turn away Keokuk trash, while we sit back and watch truck after truck after truck come in from Adams County and dump, and then they tell local haulers to take it to Fort Madison? Are you serious? I mean, we're really doing that. Now, I'd like somebody on this group, maybe you, Mr. Bryant, you're our representative on the Great River Regional Waste. You tell me why Keokuk businesses and residents are turned away from the transfer station, can't dump their truck, while truckload after truckload after truckload come in from Adams County, Quincy. Now, you explain to me, and you explain to all these people, and you explain to Jeff Reichman, our state senator, who was denied for a week and a half to dump his truck. Now, the city, we get a lot of business, thank you, from the city saying, okay, we want the town to clean up, right, Kathy? Right? Okay. Jeff Reichman has a house in Keokuk. I'm just using him as one example of what's been going on now for the last 8 months. He's got a house in Keokuk. The tenant left a mess. It's not Jeff's fault. It happens to about every landlord in town. So I'm sure the city, and I don't know if Pam knows about it, I'm sure you want it cleaned up. The yard was a disaster, okay? So Jeff Reichman gets a roll-off box from me, like a whole lot of other citizens do. So I set him a roll-off box. They would not let me dump that for a week and a half, okay? For a week and a half, they would not let me dump it. Jeff Reichman called the transfer station Monday, and they told him, you can't bring it out still, after waiting a week. So what happens? I finally get to dump it the other day, and in that week and a half of not accepting his trash, the same thing that happens to a lot of other people and landlords in Keokuk and homes, during that week and a half, Quincy haulers were allowed to dump over 200 tons in our transfer station, but they told Mr. Reichman he couldn't dump 1.5 tons. Now, I don't care who you are, that ain't right, and I don't know anybody in Keokuk that thinks that's right. Mr. Tillman, I've hauled quite, a bit of trash for you. How would you feel if I told you, you got this job going on, you're doing this roof. I can't dump your trash for a week, but Quincy can. How would you feel about that, Dan? Would you be happy? Do you think that's right? So I'm asking Mr. Bryant and the rest of this council, why is that? And why should we let that happen? I am not going to raise people's price in Keokuk. So I got to go to Fort Madison while Quincy, Adams County gets the dump? I'm not going to do that. That's just wrong. Maybe, Mr. Bryant, maybe what you and your board ought to do is tell Quincy, A, don't bring it at all. You got your own plan down there. Or take it all the way to the landfill. But no, what you're doing, you're letting them dump at our transfer station, fill it up, tell me no, okay? And then what do we got to do? We got to pay for Quincy's trash that they dump. Now we got to pay a hauler to haul it the rest of the way to the landfill. I'm sorry, Mr. Bryant, that makes no sense. And what I want to know is, whose side are you on? Adams County or the people of Keokuk, because that ain't right. That is just wrong, and you know it is. And I want you to tell these people right now, you think that's okay.
Well, if you'll let me, maybe I will
Go
explain. a
ahead.
little
I
bit.
want to hear what your response
First of all, that is not Keokuk's transfer station. Okay, that's a transfer station that is located in Keokuk. And second of all, if you're an out-of-state hauler, you pay a premium to dump here.
That's not, so you're
Now, just
saying it's
hold
okay.
on, just hold
You're
on.
saying it's okay.
I listen to you, now it's my turn. Okay? I understand you're gonna be there tomorrow to talk to it about that. I do know that they've had some of their transfer wagons down. They've been down
Not
to
for 8
one.
months, but go ahead.
They've been down to one.
Not
and
for
they-
8 months, but go ahead.
You want to keep interrupting me or you want to let me talk? Did I interrupt you?
Come on, listen.
Did I interrupt you?
Let's hear it.
Did I interrupt you?
Well, I see I've hit a nerve.
I don't
but there's
think you
probably a
want an
reason why.
explanation. I think you just
Go ahead.
want to blow.
Go ahead.
Okay. Councilperson Bryant, go ahead and finish and try not to
Okay.
interrupt, please.
Well, I don't think you're going to be able to explain to the gentleman, and I understand you're going to be at the meeting tomorrow morning, so maybe we can get it ironed out.
Well, maybe these people need an explanation. You think? You're their representative.
I don't think any of their trash I've not been advised there's been any trash turned down from there.
Well, let's put it this way.
And I have a phone. You
Yeah,
can call.
in the last, well, it's been an issue. I don't know where you've been at, but it's been an issue for, and Mr. Larkin says, for the last year. So I don't know where you've been at to not know about this.
Mr. Who?
Larkin,
Larkin.
Rick
Oh,
Larkin.
Rick Larkin.
Yeah.
About the wagon being down or?
No, about this Illinois trash, Quincy trash coming in and people complaining. So I don't know where you've been that you don't know about this.
Oh, I do know about it. I
Okay.
know about out of state.
What are you doing
stuff,
about it?
And they raised the price on them per ton to come in here.
Okay.
What's your point?
Okay. It's been 5 minutes. Can we,
Okay.
each of us, do you have anything, either one of you that needs
But
to finish
I
it
want
up?
to hear, I'd just like to hear what on its face, what the rest of these people think. You think that's okay? He's saying it's not our transfer station. Okay. Well, tell the public that's paid millions of dollars to that place.
Okay.
We pay millions of dollars for a dump with a transfer station.
And the transfer
That is
station. That
not
was all in one.
Keokuk's
That was all in
transfer
one
station.
deal.
It doesn't look like we're getting anywhere with it, but you are going tomorrow morning to there, and so you can continue there. Maybe this is something that we need to put on a workshop on down the line, everybody. What do you think?
What company do you work for?
Ray Bradley, Hauling.
Hauling, okay. Well, this is the first time that I've heard about this, so I didn't know this was happening, but I think it's something that we probably need to look into, and then I'll talk about it together. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know for Linda and I, when you started talking about this, we haven't heard about this before. I didn't know this was happening for the last 8 months, to be honest.
And I'm not saying don't take no trash from Quincy. What I am saying is don't let them fill up our station and turn Keokuk people down while they roll truck after truck after truck and then tell us to go to Fort Madison. How about you make them go to Fort Madison? They've come all the way from Quincy. They can go the rest of the way.
Okay.
Is this
Anybody?
going to impact the
I'm on
fall
Mark.
cleanup day that we have scheduled pretty soon?
You need to go to the dump. You're out of touch. You need to
Hey.
show up at the dump.
Hey, what'd you say, Carissa?
Is this going to impact the fall cleanup day that we have scheduled soon? Because if they can't take their stuff to the transfer station, we're not going to take it all up to Fort Madison, right?
Well, the vouchers are only good at the transfer station. So,
I mean, so if they're not taking our stuff, do we need to be concerned
well,
about it?
I think that what it is we need more information from Great River as well in order to make an evaluation as to the problem and what's going and what possible solutions there are.
Okay, so we're going to look into that and then you can let us all know.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Item number 6, consent agenda. Minutes of the council workshop and regular city council meeting of September 1st, 2022, cash receipts and treasurer's report for August 2022. Special event permit for Crossview Church, 1807 High Street, fireworks display at Rand Park, Sunday, September 18th, 2022 at 11 a.m. And a motion to pay the bills and transfers listed in Register's Office 5295-5296. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 7, motion to remove from the table a motion to approve the initial reading of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2018, granting an interstate power and light company its successors and assigns a non-exclusive 25-year franchise to acquire, construct, erect, maintain, and operate an electric system in the city of Keokuk, Iowa, and to furnish and sell electric energy to the city and its inhabitants, and requiring said company to pay a franchise fees to the city. We're going to leave that on the table until we meet with the general fund. Item number 8, consider resolution establishing strategic priority goals. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Any discussion?
The resolution formally adopts the goals set by the council earlier this year and commits the council and staff to allocating the time and resources to meet the goals. Action steps with targeted completion dates have been prepared and will be adopted as part of this resolution.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 9, consider resolution authorizing demolition of structures and approval of contracts for property located at 1815 Estes Street. Motion to approve. Any discussion?
This has a numerous recurring valuations, and we received 2 bids with a low bid from CCS of $10,000. There is a picture of the dwelling.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 10, consider resolution accepting proposal and approving CEI RPC to update Title 20 zoning ordinance. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Any discussion?
The city took bids in May of 2022, request for proposal. We received 2, one from Marvin Planning for $41,400 and one from Southeast Iowa Regional Planning for $20,000. This has been a goal for quite some time to get our zoning code updated. We will not start on it probably until January of 2023. That will be 3 payments of $5,000 and another $5,000 upon completion.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 11, consider resolution approving bid for the Union Depot Restoration Project bid and quotes. Motion to approve.
Second.
The bid is for the Central Tower masonry restoration. The estimated for the project was $69,180 with bids for materials and labor totaling $63,180. So $6,000 under projected estimates. Project is overseen by the Union Depot Foundation with 100% of the project paid through grants and donations. The foundation cannot receive grants directly, so the revenues and expenses are funneled through the city. With the project costs exceeding the threshold for staff approval, the bid was brought forward for council consideration.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 12, reports and commissions, boards and commissions.
We have multiple second and first notifications that we need no action on, but we do have several resignations. 2 for Historic Preservation Commission, Leanne Smith and Dave Jones. And from the Civil Service Commission, due to him being appointed to the City Council, Dan Tillman. So I can take that as an omnibus motion to approve those resignations.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Item number 13, council liaison reports.
Anybody?
Nobody? Item number 14, staff reports. All yours, Cole.
All right. First thing before I get to mine is Robert reported that there's a bearing that needs to be replaced as soon as possible on the Illinois side of the swing span on the train bridge. The contractor that has worked on the bridge for many years is working on a price for the repairs. The bearing on the Iowa side was changed years ago, but he cannot find any information on when the cost or the time that it was installed. And he's estimating the cost for repairs to be greater than $15,000. He'd like tacit approval so that the repairs can be made without delay. There is a potential for significant damage to occur if it's not repaired soon, and measures have to be taken so that the bridge is operational temporarily. So does anybody have an objection to him going ahead and ordering that bearing? Because without it, the bridge isn't going to be operational.
I'd say he just needs to do it because it's not like we're going to stop it. Eventually, if you don't, I mean, anybody that knows anything about bearings, they just, once they start to go bad, they don't ever get better. They just casually go worse, and pretty quick, it'll fall into the river if we leave it long enough.
All right. So I'll tell him to go ahead and get that. And then as soon as he has an estimate or an invoice, he'll bring that to the city council for approval. So my report, ADM, staff continues to work with ADM on several unresolved issues related to the consent order. Specifically, ADM violated the consent order on at least 3 occasions, and fines for the violations are being calculated. Additionally, the city deferred a portion of the March fine provided ADM did not violate the consent order. Staff will be requesting payment of the remaining March fine. Additionally, a letter will be sent to ADM informing them to remove or secure all possible waste or materials on the site in order to prevent discharge into the sanitary or stormwater systems. The hospital, the Keokuk Hospital Board has indicated that Blessing is definitely done with our hospital operations in Keokuk, eliminating any chance of continued operations. Our efforts have been and will continue to be establishing 24-hour medical care in Keokuk with a goal of a standalone ER. Mayor Mahoney and I have been in contact with state and federal officials regarding rural emergency hospitals. Congress passed the bill authorizing REH facilities and funding for the facilities, but the bill is in the Rules Committee, which then which will limit the ability to open REH no sooner than January 2023. However, the state of Iowa currently does not allow an REH facility, so state legislation will need to be passed as well. This puts the earliest date for an ER opening for the fall of 2023, provided everything else is in place. We continue to assist Lee County Ambulance with their efforts to locate a second ambulance in Keokuk. A possible location has been forwarded to the service. They're looking at the building and other options. However, the real difficulty will be finding personnel for the second unit. Anybody have any questions? All I got.
Okay. Item number 15, new business. With that being said, we'll adjourn and we'll come back in about 5 minutes to the table and we'll have our workshop. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
We'll move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Take 5 minutes, guys.
bet they got a problem.
I can't see his face, it is full.
He's only got 1.5. They denied him. To tell even though the sign wasn't like that, even though it's our street, I don't care. That street belongs to the land belongs to you. You don't belong to just some. Yeah, some group out here. Come on. Are you kidding me? That is our street. And Great River is the department of the county. Just like you got health board, human services, conservation, whatever. Great River is the department. And so people leave county. Own that train station. Yeah, that's about it. That's called the key again.
Yes?
Not the Quincy. I was
We're
really
thinking about
instead of, like it's not ours. But they want to bring in more revenue.
I see, okay, fine. Since I won't think go out.
Some people that say, "Ooh, we can take care of it." And what are we going to do? So there's a lot of people that know that. Then there's people that say, well, if you bring in all the help.
Yes, that's at law. So it doesn't.
But not actually.
That's what I said.
Then that's okay. Yeah. So, but it should never happen to where we can't have an army site. But then you tell us to write.
So you think I would be bad? How about you? You'd be bad.
I really like to find anybody to keep. I want one person. Besides You know what? I had whatever. Including state reps in our county. I don't know how to say it. County and state. And it's not even about me, it's about the people who keep it. And I'll be darned if I'm gonna sit there. Bring us a truckload after truckload, and then they deny keeping it. That's just wrong. But thank you. Great. Yeah, right, yeah, or like, I was like, yeah, well, I was like, kind of the babies in the family, one of the younger ones, so like, a lot of my cousins, they're like much older. So, you know, they probably. Thank you. I did. That's right. Oh, I see.
We got it.
90% sure that I'm not having a problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's that 10%. I'm gonna say.
Reasonable water, reasonable. Well, especially.
Okay, we're going to open up the council workshop for September 15th, 2022. And we have one item on the agenda. It is discussion regarding the Miller House Museum. And I know that we have a couple representatives here. So if you come forward and speak really nicely and loud into that microphone so we can hear you.
I can't remember the last time I was in front of a microphone. My name is Angela Gates. I am the current president of the Lee County, Iowa Historical Society. We're located at 318 North 5th here in Keokuk. The Articles of Incorporation for the society were drafted in 1956. We've operated as a society since then. Within the last, what do you think, 10 to 15 years, our membership has been steadily declining. We're currently at an active membership of around 5 to 6 people. That being said, the age of the individuals who are still able to participate with the society, there's myself and 2 others who are right at 40, 39 to 40. The others are significantly older, sorry. But you know, they're maybe not able to do a lot of the heavy lifting, that type of thing that the museum would require. And us younger ones are generally caring for families or working full-time, things like that. So of the 6 of us that there are that are really, you know, available to do the work, we're not able to get it done. The house itself was built in 1859 at a cost of $13,000 by Samuel Freeman Miller, who was later appointed Supreme Court Justice by Lincoln. He moved from the house to DC and then came back, died, and is buried here in Oakland Cemetery. The house itself was obtained by Historical Society in 1965, and we established it as the museum at that time. In 1972, it was put on the National Register of Historic Places. I don't know exactly how many historic places are in Keokuk off the top of my head, but I don't think there's a lot. So it's definitely one that we need to consider, you know, keeping around. Most recently, we've operated as a museum, and that includes tours. We've met with researchers. We've had some folks come in, do different presentations. We had Sunday specials, which we would bring in a presenter. We would have snacks, some entertainment, things of that nature. Person would do a program for us. It was open to the community, free of charge. Folks could always make a donation if they liked, but we didn't charge for those programs. It was all something that was either put on completely by the Miller House or we had somebody donate refreshments. We have also in the past, in the years that I've been with the organization, we've done an annual Christmas event. We've done a Victorian Christmas. We've had Santa there. We have done various puppet shows. Joe Fierce has brought in the puppets that he has. Those are always really, really enjoyed by the kids. We have had Halloween events. We've had a ghost tour through Keokuk. That was one that we were going to bring back to do in 2020. We were getting to work on that, but then we had to shut down. As you can imagine, COVID shut down. We couldn't function. When you operate on live and in-person events, and the amount of people that would usually come to the events when they're older, maybe technologically, unable to get access to the events. We did try to do some streaming activities. It wasn't well received. So what I am coming before you to discuss is the future of the Miller House, not the Historical Society. That's a completely separate issue. The bylaws in the Historical Society's Articles of Incorporation state that the city of Keokuk would kind of get first opportunity at the Miller House if the society were to dissolve. So I'm bringing this before the council to discuss if it is something that I hope the city council and our city sees as worth saving, but the 5 and 6 individuals who are actively involved in the society, we can't do it anymore. We can't do it anymore. We've tried to get members. We don't have the donations coming in. And we can't. We are running on fumes. I lose sleep over this on a regular basis. And I don't want to see the history that we have in this building that is wrapped up in the Miller House. I don't want to see that disappear. So I'm hoping there is some way that we can get something worked out. What I would like to do in a dream world, kind of what I was hoping to do, we do have funding that we would be able to paint and repair the house as it is. So that would not be a cost on the city. And then at the end of that painting, repairing, everything like that, we would like to kind of reopen the Miller House. Get the city, if anybody in your neighborhood has ever repainted something or done a home renovation, you know that people are always looking all over and, what's going on? What's going on? It gets the talk going, and I think for something like this, it would be really great. But what happens after that is what we need to address. What do we do with the museum after it looks good? We wouldn't want to put money into something that's going to sink. And I certainly don't want to see it sink. Accompanying parties.
Tell them some of the artifacts that are in there that are being. Just the top 5.
Oh. Give me a top 5. Your top 5 favorite artifacts. I mean, we have the medical room that's downstairs. That's always been a really common draw when younger groups have come to the house. My husband says that he remembers going to see that in school. And, I won't disclose our ages, but it's been a minute, and yes, the museum hasn't changed a lot of things since then, but we haven't had the opportunity. We have a lot of things that we'd like to put out, but, we just, yeah.
It's important to people have come to study Freeman, and it's
Yeah, we have the office upstairs where,
Could it become like the Grand Theater and the Verity? I mean, they have it's a commission, but they run it through the city.
Well, in the Verity is truly a museum run by the city. There isn't a commission raising its own money or a foundation or anything beyond that. But as far as the Grand Theater, um, uh, it's funded through a foundation that raises money and provides for its operation. And then it has the rental and everything else to help with the operation. So what I can tell you is that the Verity relies upon um, uh, part-time help in order to have somebody there. It's not operated, I believe, all year round. I think it closes during the winter. And it's different than the Miller House in that that would be something that would be open year round. May not have to be open every day, but be out year round. So we'd have to have the expense of having somebody, finding people to be there. So I'm just laying out some of the landscape for the council to consider. So we'd have to have the people there. And then comes the upkeep. Granted, through the money that the society has, it will bring it up to where it's at. But what I'm going to tell you is that without some sort of board to oversee that facility, will become stagnant.
and that is
Okay.
exactly what has happened to us.
Right. It will
And
become stagnant.
we
The,
just
the,
don't.
the Verity Museum is great, but it's stagnant.
Mhm.
Okay. It's the same thing when you go in every time. Okay.
I've been in the museum several times and it does hold a lot of history, a lot. And, I'd hate to see anything happen
Yeah.
to it. I really would.
And that, what you're saying about the Verity is very true, and it's the same for us. It is very stagnant. I mean, up to this point, there has been kind of we haven't yet reached the shift where it's going from kind of Civil War history to World War history. That shift in historical interest is coming. And and we haven't been able to adapt to that shift yet with the Miller House, because Keokuk itself is built a lot upon Civil War history. And folks come to town and they want to see that. And we do have we have some Civil War items that we have acquired over the years. The flag. Yeah. Yeah.
Have
Well,
you
I got a
to
couple
anybody that
questions.
might have any kind of Civil War stuff, memorabilia that they may want to donate?
We can't
to
take
help?
anymore. We
Oh, you
can't
take any more in there?
Oh, God. I
Maybe it needs to just, sometimes Walmart move things around.
Yeah.
Maybe if you did
Yeah.
something like that, it would help. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, on a
yeah.
regular basis, we get folks reaching out to us and they say, oh, my father passed away and he had this thing that he would like to donate to the Miller House. And as much as we want to take it, and 9 times, I'd say even more than that, probably 98% of the time, I say, we'll find a way, because
Do you
I don't
have
want it to.
anything that if
go.
you took in prioritized what's in your museum to what is more interest
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
people are really interested in,
definitely.
and what is like, they don't really care one way or another, that you
Yeah.
could move some of that stuff out to put
Yeah.
other stuff in?
It's a matter of the manpower and the hours and the physical ability of all of us to be able to do it. Yeah. Of
The Dam Museum has several of the items that are ours, that's in the Dam Museum. From when we acquired things from people that had worked on the dam or set up the whole system, so they have parts and pieces, dedication, things like that. silver cups from Cooper was the engineer.
I was thinking maybe like a, what they call a facelift,
Yeah.
to bring, if you move things around a lot of times, it gives it a whole new look.
Yeah. Yeah. Move things
And
around.
believe me, it does.
So I've got a couple of questions, I
Yeah.
guess. First, I guess my question is, what are you asking of us? I mean, are you wanting us to basically take over the house, finance a remodel? I mean, I guess that's the only question as far as that goes. But then also, if it's on the National Registry as a historic society building or as a historic building, it should be eligible for a lot of grants and actual government money.
Mhm.
Where are we at with that? Because any historical, that's one thing the United States is still doing really correctly right, is if a building is on the registry, United States will do pretty much everything they can to keep it because it's been deemed and they've spent a lot of time and money putting it on that registry
Yeah,
and making it
definitely.
and showing that. So there should be, and I don't know all the avenues for that, but there should be a substantial amount of money available
Mhm.
to take care of this house.
Yeah.
And I guess have you gone down that road and you
Um,
explored that at all?
We have, in the past, we've gotten several grants. We got some grants to do some renovations to the back of the building. There's a back porch on it. We had a grant that we used for that. We've had grants for, there was one that we acquired the table or some big piece of furniture that was relevant to what we have. We've applied for various, I mean, I can't even think of all the ones that we've done, but I know there's been a lot of them out there that we've worked on. Some audiovisual equipment to do the programs. Financially, I'm really not that worried about, of course, that's always a concern. You always want to make sure that your investment is going to be taken care of. But we need some sort of guidance because we're not able as a society to continue on, and without the society behind the Miller House floats. Like there's nothing, there's nobody to maintain it if the society isn't there to maintain it. So as a society, we're facing dissolution because of our membership numbers. And we want to make sure that the Miller House is going to be taken care of in some capacity before we, potentially take that next step of whatever it has to be with our society. So
The grants provide money for infrastructure and perhaps maybe for some of the contents, but the real need, as I'm hearing it, is manpower.
Well, right. And I guess that was my question is the building itself structurally sound, in really good shape? And so you're just, because,
considering its age, I think
I
it's
had an
okay.
opportunity to work on a museum, I want to call it that, down in Macoupin County a number of years ago when I was a contractor. And it was the same thing. It was a house that was built during, it was part of the Underground Railroad and everything else. And the drawback to some of the grant money is it's earmarked for this and it's going to be spent for that.
Mhm.
And I understand that part. I guess that was my question is, are you looking for money to fix the house? Or are you just looking for manpower and ideas on how to keep it going?
I think their request is possibly for us to take over the Miller House and operate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
as to have it become a city museum as opposed to a
And then,
museum
so I
that's
guess,
operated by the
and then
society.
your historical society would basically, you'd still be a historical society, but you wouldn't be running.
I don't know if we would be, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I know for myself, I've got two kids at home that are coming in through elementary school and middle school, and there's going to be a lot of demands on my time. So I'm not going to be able to do that, as much as I would like to. Our other two, members that are about my age, their kids are older, but they both work full time, and they, work full time plus, 60 some or more hours a week. So for me, that is a concern, physically. I know Joe Fierce, he is one of our diehard champion members. He should not be lifting heavy things. He wants to, he should not be. So yeah, we just need some sort of, I was thinking like maybe not an intern, but like a graduate student or somebody from the university would be able to step in and do something with cataloging items and then maybe have tours or something like that. That, if we could get a person here, but I don't know how all that works. That is way beyond my understanding.
If the council were to consider taking over the museum, it would be my recommendation that without a active commission or board or society, that the city would not take that over, just simply because we don't have the staff to do it.
Right.
The Grand Theater is a perfect example of how things work. It's a city-owned facility, but they have a board and commission that's very active, that takes care of it, books the acts and everything else.
Angela, has the decision been made to dissolve the
It
society?
has not.
So,
At this point, it has not. No.
so there still could be a solution of if we can get some new blood
Mhm.
into the society.
Yeah, if we can get some new membership, but I know over the last 10 years, I mean, we're not even talking like a tiny slope. It's like a cliff. It is, and that's so many organizations, I know we're not unique in that. Younger people have more demands on their time and it's tough. It's difficult for groups to get people.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Historic preservation?
I'm not sure that, I'd have to read the bylaws. I'm not sure that is, would be their goal. I mean, historic preservation would be there to help with
Right.
taking care of the painting and doing all that kind of stuff, but they really aren't there to do tours and,
Right.
Yes, we.
yes, we do a brand new one.
And I think historic preservation's main goal is to, what's that? Yes, but it's just now become reactivated.
Yeah.
For years, it sat inactive. But historic preservations is not necessarily in the running of a museum, but to preserve, get buildings so they're in a condition to be preserved.
Something just needs to be renamed to get new blood. This is just talking, we're just discussing. I don't have it. But in theory, if a commission was set up and it got board, then you have a Keokuk City Commission for Miller House. And maybe you get that new blood that doesn't come to a historical society meeting, or doesn't really know what a historical society meeting is, and because, I had a guy, it's been several months, maybe a year ago, come in, and he was a young guy, and they had moved here from Texas, and he had a wife, and so on and so forth. And he was telling me stuff that nobody from Texas should know about Keokuk. But he knew, and he knew history. And I think Freeman was one of the guys that he was telling me all about it, And so those are the kind of people that we need. He was a younger guy and had drive, but he didn't have the drive to go to a historical society, or the historical society didn't know about him to go to him. So, there's a disconnect there.
I think us having it be, I don't want to say a private society with the historical society, but at this point, folks that we have tried to reach out to aren't necessarily responsive in coming in. So maybe it is that we need to revamp all of that. that we need to get somebody, somebody from the council kind of as a go-between, that we can try to
If it was
do
set up,
something.
then grants would come back into play because somebody would be on that commission that would be in charge of, and looking for grants and stuff. I mean, for different reasons than just infrastructure.
Well, something that and you guys would know this before I would, and Kurt would know this before I would. I guess when I think of anything like this, I don't think that it's open 24/7, or I don't think it's open Monday through Friday. I don't look at it that way. I look at it, well, the Miller House is going to be open this day of the month, and they have they're going to have this, that, and the other. Is that the vision of the Miller House, or is it, do we need to open it up, and if somebody drives through Keokuk, they want to stop? What is actually the vision?
For the last few years that it was really active as a museum before everything had to shut down for COVID, it was, something like Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 4, Memorial Day through Labor Day. It was kind of like the Verity. It wasn't a year-round 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type of thing. And there are still folks who reach out to us and they say, we're going to be in Keokuk from this time to this time. Is there any way we could stop by for a tour? And, most of the time we can find somebody that can get over there and take them through. But, if they stop by on a Tuesday afternoon,
Yeah.
3 of us, sometimes 4 of us, we can't get over there to do it. So it's,
Years ago, and, by AAA magazine, a lady called me from AAA magazine, and they were talking about museums and different museums. And they mentioned the Miller House, and they said, is that still only open 3 half days a week? And I said, well, yeah. They took it out of the magazine. They had a free listing for museums, but with the fact that it was only open 3 half days a week, they didn't want to mess with that because you have tourists every day of the week. Monday through Saturday. I mean, and I'm not saying to be open Monday through Saturday. That's way beyond where we are right now. But the more it's open, the more chance you have of people stopping in.
Sure. Hey, Kirk, I've got some questions for you, but would you be able to come to one of these microphones up here to speak? So that I know the
Front and
people on the
center.
audio and video, they really can't hear anybody if they're not on a microphone.
you can share with me. I don't
Sure, sure. So Kirk, my question for you is, could you maybe share with us the origins of the Dam Museum and maybe how that worked with tourism? And can that be an example of maybe an option here with the Miller Museum? Is there any way that those entities could share workloads since it is a similar concept?
Well, without saying too much about any, I mean, I've had a vision of a downtown museum district. You've probably heard about it through the grapevine or something. But, where we could have a, museum here, museum here, museum here, museum here, about 4 different subjects, the Dam Museum, Civil War history, a heritage museum. Fred Say has been working on that for a long time and has a lot of material for that. And and a sports history. I mean, the basketball, baseball, car racing, and et cetera. And if that happens, if that would happen, then you've got a destination. People will come here for 4 museums. They don't come for 3 half days a week. They're coming. They're coming good for the Dam Museum. I mean, the folks, everybody that comes through stops in. But together, yeah, we could work all together. And if the Historical Society or whatever we would call it, that would be another link in the chain. You know, if they came and they had, you know, the Verity, the Dam Museum, and the Miller House Museum to go to, that's 3 legs of the chair, you know?
So the Dam Museum's relatively new,
Yeah.
all things speaking. Where did the volunteer hours, where were those people? How were they discovered?
That's still a
and pulled
problem.
into that
That's
program?
still a problem. I mean, the fact that I'm there every day takes care of it, you know, 5 days a week. It horns in on tourism time, you know, especially this time of year, the week before, you know, Geode Fest. You know, when people come around the corner, I cringe. You know, I'm like, oh no. Yeah. But we take them through there anyway. So the volunteer base is tough all over, and it's tough in the Dam Museum too.
Could you do like you do your dam museum with your video? Could you do your video of the Miller House, of the Verity, of the National Cemetery? Put all them together? Or could you do a bus ride? If we get enough people,
Oh,
we'll take them around to all of them.
We had actually talked about that just before I came over here, so I hadn't even had a chance to talk to you. About doing a kind of a bus tour situation, you know, like you said, you know, all 3 that are currently in existence. But again, it would have to be the person, if there's a person driving the bus, would they have to run the tour? You know, there'd have to still be somebody at the Miller House to do it. If there's somebody at the Verity already, if there's somebody at tourism already, we'd have to get somebody to the Miller House to do it.
But if you had the video like you do the dam,
for $25,000, I could do it.
it's only money.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that my only drawback on doing the a video style presentation with the Miller House is that we have so much stuff. It would be something that we would have to constantly update. I mean, just to, you know, to get through the main floors, it could take a lot, you know, for folks to come in and see it. You know, they could kind of be drawn to whatever thing they wanted to be drawn to in the time being. Whereas if they're on a video, they're going to have to kind of search for, you know, whatever. But at the dam, it's a little bit different. You know, whereas the things at the Miller House are, I guess, a little more varied. Would that be fair to say?
A lot.
Okay.
Because we cover the medical college, we cover the dam, we cover the Civil War, we cover Victorian, whatever, furniture.
Kitchen, laundry service.
Native Americans.
Yeah. Judge's house, clothing, not Judge's house, but.
Well, that's the thing that a heritage museum would take place. I mean, would the Heritage Museum would be everything, Black history, Indian history, Germans, Italians, you know, whatever has come to this town and made this town what it is. And so that, you know, that would help that situation out.
The Jewish plaque we have up there for the Jewish church we had here in Keokuk.
Yep.
Yeah, those
Yep.
are.
We have the whatever they call it, the Torah at the house. We have that piece of furniture that somebody gave us that was in the Jewish synagogue. And we've got, and the tablets.
I would say the tablets, we've got the tablets.
The 10 Commandments on it. I mean, I don't know how many of you have ever been in the Miller House?
And even if it was in 3rd grade, that's fine. It might not have changed, honestly.
Usually 3rd grade and 5th grade.
The doctor's display is a big hit. I mean, and that's why it has stood for this long, you know, in the place where it is, because people love it.
Are the school systems still bringing kids? Each year?
We haven't been contacted this year.
You haven't been this year, but did you have last year?
Last year with COVID and then the year
Oh,
before,
true.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do in-person programs, we couldn't do tours, it was.
Okay.
It was something. Devastating is a small word, but yes, small word for it.
Angela, what are some of the responsibilities of the board members of the society? What do they have to do?
At this point, we have kind of just been focused on surviving, for lack of a better word. Making sure bills are paid, taking care of deposits, mail, processing, different donations that come in, sending, thank yous for memorials that we've received. Kind of just making sure that everything stays floating. Some of the other things that we've done in the past, we've had a calendar that we've published as a fundraiser. We have done the historical ghost tour, murder mysteries, that kind of thing.
What would be the responsibilities then directly involved with the Miller House?
Kind of the way I would see it is just making sure that the things in the house are not necessarily supervised, but just kind of taken care of. We need to get over there and get things cleaned. We need to just do a big cleaning before we can even, progress on to the next phase. Maybe some light cleaning would be something that a person who is there regular hours would need to do if they're not doing tours. There's always the possibility of inventorying, cataloging, just looking over the different things that are there. Hey, is this in a collection space where it's going to be best suited, or could it go somewhere else where it might be used more by researchers? When we were in there looking for photos for the calendar a couple years ago, we found some things for the medical college exhibit that, we would love to create a whole medical college exhibit. That was a big part of our history before they left for a different city. But kind of just oversight of the building. Making sure that folks that want to see something can get in to see it.
Do you have an inventory sheet of everything that's in there?
Oh, God. I wish.
So you really don't know what all you have in there?
There's a lot of things that are up to date. There's also a lot of things that could be brought up to date better. If there was yeah, we did do a video for insurance purposes. Yeah, so we've got that. It's quick, but it's not narrated. So, like doing a video tour based on that would not work. But there are, just take the medical college, for example, like there's just a big box of photos, and some of them aren't really, they're not named, they're not marked, there's not, a content description or anything like that. There's a box that says medical college, which is kind of how a lot of, archival systems work. It's just kind of by subject.
So I guess that kind of brings me back to what I said before. So if you kind of switch things out a little bit, and then maybe have like a re-grand opening or something, and you bring out different things, it really kind of makes a difference there.
Yeah. Well, and we had also kind of discussed selling or, parting with items that maybe no longer serve our collection or that aren't specific to Keokuk, or, that kind of need to be distributed elsewhere. I want to say is there a doll museum in New York or something like that? I'm sure they would love to have at least one of those interesting dolls. Those dolls.
I think
they terrify me.
overall, there needs to be a plan. And I think that's what she's looking for, and looking for help in gaining that plan. Because, there's a whole opportunity to market this place. We've got rarities, that are only in this county, that means something to a lot of people all over. But so a marketing campaign and somebody to do that. But, first things first, we have to see if it can exist in the first place. I
do think the interest is there. Just judging by the amount of people that we have had start to contact us, saying that they would like to talk to somebody about the Miller House or do a tour or something like that. You know, and I hate to turn people down, but if we don't have anybody that can get over there to do it, you know, because I know that doesn't look good on us as a society. It doesn't look good on us as a city if we don't have a volunteer to come take care of our history.
Are you funded? Is there any funding coming from the Lee County
We
Historical
do-
Society?
We do fundraisers periodically. Again, the last few years have shut us down. We did the, oh God, help me, what was the name of it? The big fundraiser dinner thing that we did. The theater.
Yeah, the death of the.
Yeah,
brothel.
Betrayal at the Brothel, where we kind of had a
We had a
reimagination of
dinner
the,
theater
yeah.
About murder in the brothel, the four-way stop, you know, that they never solved.
The never solved case, yeah. So we kind of made up an ending and, you know, portrayed it with this dinner. We've done traveling, you know, dinners. We've done, of course, the calendar is something that we do every year.
But other than your fundraisers, Lee County Historical Society is your name. It's not somebody that helps fund you.
No,
It's your name that you've taken, your organization that you've taken, like North Lee County has taken for the courthouse up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, we have, over the years, we've had investments that, you know, are keeping us afloat. You know, that helps to take care of our monthly bills, and if there's an extra large expense, we can cover it with that. So, I mean, financially, we're, you know, sitting.
Money from the city. We used to come in, I know we didn't ask for money from the city. And the county, but.
And grants, if we need something bigger, we've definitely done that too.
So I guess, I think we all understand what you're saying, that you need help. You need people that want to be interested. You need to figure out how to come across the commission and board. So, I guess we're going to have to talk about it as a council at some point too, as to where you stand. I know, maybe it's a situation if you had a actual commission and you could, if you guys knew people that would be willing to be on it, or somebody, or, you know, even advertising that kind of stuff. If some of it, if that type of thing, that part of it could be run by the commission, and maybe some of the promoting and the marketing could go through tourism, and maybe some of the work on the building could go through maybe historic preservation once they are up and running full-fledged, and they're working, of course, on the Bodden House, but there are things and volunteers to help do stuff. Maybe it's a triangle that you're going to have to create.
Yeah.
But I guess we all need to go back to our individual places and see what we can come up with.
I mean, and when I first joined the society, gosh, 12-ish years ago, I think, I certainly didn't see myself being the president when it all came crashing down. I didn't really want to be president at all, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do.
I feel your pain.
So,
Really
you know,
feel your pain.
I know that somewhere in our city, I feel like there would be a better person to do this job than me. Even though I can stand up here and tell you all these things about this, I know there is someone who knows the grant funding opportunities. I know there is someone who knows how to do all of this stuff that I don't know. I need that person to step forward. Anybody out there that's watching, we really need you guys to step forward desperately. So I
Okay,
appreciate your time.
no problem. And thanks for, letting us know what's going on. And everybody's just going to have to go back and see what they can come up with and meet
Yeah.
again.
We would love to hear the suggestions.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks, Kirk. I think so. Okay, so that was it tonight. So if everybody wants to go home, let's go. Meeting adjourned.